Here's how I finish the armholes of sleeveless garments with bias binding. Hi, I'm Olga and I make sewing content that is usually vintage inspired and sometimes a little bit nerdy. I made some 2.5 centimeter or 1 inch wide bias from the same fabric as my blouse and I pinned it to the armhole with right sides together. You want to fold back the ends of the bias to hide the raw edges. Then I stitched that in place on my machine using the seam allowance included in the pattern. I trimmed the excess seam allowance to avoid bulky seams. Next, I pressed the bias and seam allowances away from the armholes. Then I pressed the bias in half so that the raw edges line up with the stitching line. Finally, I flipped the whole bias to the inside of the garment and pressed that in place. For an invisible finish, you could slip stitch that in place, but I pinned it down so I could top stitch it on the machine. This is a great way to finish armholes without having to add linings, and also a good way to use up those weirdly shaped offcuts. Thanks for watching and happy sewing!